Hi, I'm Barry Ostrowski. At RWJ Barnabas Health, we believe that everyone needs to be informed about the important healthcare issues affecting their lives. That's why we're proud to support the important educational programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, RWJ Barnabas Health, Fedway Associates, the Fidelco Group, Caldwell University, Suez, and by Adler Aphasia Center, helping stroke and brain injury survivors recover their speech. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. And by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
The public television family is honored to have back with us the Val Skinner LPGA Tour professional, golf analyst, and founder of the Val Skinner Foundation. How you doing?
I'm good. I came to see if your golf game's any better.
Oh, you're gonna hit me right away. I thought you'd wait at least a minute for that.
Do you know you played in the very first event we hosted to support the foundation?
I did.
You were part of the best-looking guy in the audience. I was like, let me see a swing. What's he got? Does he have anything real? What's going on?
I know. Don't even talk about it. I've been a 13, 14 forever. How come
It looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, leave it at that. Hey, by the way, talk about the Life event. Make sure everybody understands why it's so important.
Life is LPGA pros in the fight to eradicate breast cancer. I founded it in 2000. We're on our 18th. Can't believe it. A lot of money raised at this point. We're from the event itself, we're at about 11 million. But beyond that, we've raised money for a couple of additional events that we do and different things that we've gotten into over the years. But it's the best women golfers in the world gathered here, coming right off the ShopRite Classic, and it's been really successful and healthy. And we have a number of programs to tell you about. But it's really you know, Life came out of our dear friend, Heather Farr, who
That's right.
We lost at 28, misdiagnosed at 24, and I launched a national campaign for young women because she asked me to. And I didn't know how to do it, but I came up with the name and then, just tried to find good life partners and corporate sponsorship to help us raise money and get to that point.
And the professional golfers continue to be committed.
They do.
Because?
I think because, once we started to tell this story, they really understood that, A, they have a platform. They can make a difference. They can speak to people that, in an unusual way that a lot of people can't reach that many people. And I think also they were young women, and they were athletic, and, all of them are athletic. And Heather was athletic and smart and a rising star and on her way, and this hit her. And she had no idea to think that it was real at that point. And that was in 1989 when she was diagnosed, and we lost her in 93. And I think the history and the story as it follows took me a long time to convince anyone to do a Young Women's Initiative, because it wasn't the actual age group that was as impacted. But now I think we've changed the message on the street, and I think the players that come and play for me feel a part of that and feel committed to that, and they see that it could be them.
And the money that is raised is going to such important things. Talk about specifically the research, the work, the impact.
Well, the Cancer Institute of New Jersey, I actually had a scare of my own. I was fine, but I went there and came to understand the meaning of a National Comprehensive Designated Cancer Center. And when I did, I thought this would be a good partner for us, in this mission. And I had raised money, on Heather's behalf prior to, but there wasn't the right family yet. We hadn't figured out the right path yet. And we did some good things, but the Cancer Institute provided a clinical background for us that was needed for young women and women at high risk. And then Komen was the LPGA's national charity at the time, Susan G. Komen, and for the cure. And so I went to them and said, I want to do this. I'll get the money, I'll get the funding if you'll do a strategic plan and help us reach young women. And we built a program called Komen on the Go out of that strategic plan. And Komen on the Go, by the time we were done, total audience was 24 million. Wow. It traveled across college campuses around the country for about 8 years. And now it was fabulous, fantastic. It did what it was meant to do in terms of educating young women, changing the message on the street. And our life partners just hung with us. And then we sort of evolved into the new programs that we have now.
And today, there's what is it? It's called
BioConnect,
yeah.
which comes out of the Life Center, which is at the Cancer Institute of New Jersey, named after our advocacy. We funded a fellowship to create something in the high school setting to educate the youth around breast cancer, age appropriate. And the School of Public Health at Rutgers and now Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey partnered with us, and we continued to fund it, and we built it out throughout New Jersey, built the metrics for the program. And really what it is, Steve, it's cancer genetics in a classroom setting on breast cancer using STEM, science and biology, literacy, as well as technology at the time. And it stood for Biology Online Connecting Teens. But we could only do it and move it so quickly in New Jersey until we went digital. And that's when we found our most recent partner, Discovery Education.
You talk about partners, Val. You and I have had this offline conversation for years as people who lead nonprofits. You can't do it without partners. You can't do it without corporate support. And the ShopRite Wakefern family has been, they're supporters of public broadcasting. They're supporters of this initiative. But the ShopRite Classic, talk about that connection and coming off at the golf event and then coming off it into the life event. Make that connection so people really understand it.
Well, I live in Bay Head in the summer and the Jersey Shore, and so I'm a fan and have always been. I have a little bias towards them, but what's really impressive to me about Wakefern and ShopRite, Steve, is they've raised $31 million with that event over the years, and their consistency is amazing. And I think it's probably one of the largest contributions, from the tour. And it's breast cancer, but it's Special Olympics, it's the food bank, and it's 7 states deep, and they have about a $20 million economic impact.
And that event's coming?
It's June, the Life event's June 5th,
That's right.
and they finish this Sunday, so
That's
June
right.
4th. It's Memorial Day weekend, and huge pro-am, great support, just great people. There you go.
Oh my God, what a crowd.
I've walked those fairways without Mike.
Tell folks where that is?
Yeah.
The event takes place?
That's at Seaview.
Seaview, down by Atlantic City.
Seaview Resort. Great throwback of great golf and old-time Jersey Shore. Just a perfect environment and setting. And really, it's an amazing field. They capture really the best talent that we have on tour. Right there you see Paula Creamer, Michelle Wee.
Oh, is she good?
Kari Webb, a former champion. But they've had just a stellar lineup. Inkster's won there, McGann, Laura Davies, all the legends that I play the Legends Tour with now.
And you are one of them.
And I am trying to still be one of them, yes.
The game's better and better, isn't it?
It is. It's, technology has made a huge difference in teaching and education and not only in science and precision medicine and cancer genetics and gene expression, but in my golf swing.
Yeah.
So it's
but
really
also
been
the
fun.
fact that the one thing I've always appreciated about you, one of the many things, Val, is you've taken your athletic skill, your fame, and connected it to making a difference in the lives of other people. And you didn't have to do that. You chose to do that. And so the Public Television family says thank you to Val Skinner, LPGA professional, golf analyst, founder of Val Skinner Foundation, and just want to say thanks.
Thanks for having me. And it's good to see you. You look great.
I had a lot of work done. So stay with us right back right after this.
To watch more one-on-one with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Welcome back. Named after a man who gave tirelessly to others, the Simuel Whitfield Simmons Organization is helping families in need in New Jersey. I'm joined by the founder and CEO, Natasha Rodgers. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us about your grandfather, Simuel Whitfield Simmons.
The name just makes me smile. Simuel Whitfield Simmons, he was an amazing man. I consider him a Renaissance man back in the 1960s. If I can paint a small picture for you, back in that time, it was Newark was very dilapidated without any resources. Children was going to school without food. Families had nowhere to live. My grandfather had a church, Humanity Baptist Church, that's on 14th Avenue in Bergen. It's still up and running today. He utilized his church for families to stop in and eat for free, be able to receive warm clothing. They had safe places to play. So he was a man that cared about his community and thought to himself, what could I do to better my community? And he started an array of different programs to help families with wraparound services.
How did your grandfather set an example for you in terms of the kind of person you wanted to be and the kind of difference you wanted to make?
At the time, I didn't realize. I'm just looking at him as grandpa, you know, and just watching all the things that he's doing. But as I grew, I realized that he, in my DNA actually, throughout my family, was to give back. Find in some capacity how you can better serve your community. How can you help them elevate, uplift them, encourage them? And as I watched him give his life to families who were less fortunate in the state of New Jersey, it had a profound impact on me.
How would you describe your childhood?
My childhood was very humbled. I didn't always have food to eat myself, didn't always have the greatest clothing to wear. So for me to see my grandfather, with our humble beginnings, give whatever little bit that he had. For him, he had 9 children, 5 boys, and 4 girls, and he would often bring children home to sleep in the beds of his children. So to see that, to see someone that didn't have much still be able to find a way to give, had a profound impact on me.
So describe the mission now of the organization. What are you trying to accomplish?
What we're trying to accomplish is, it says it in one word, to help. And help in any way we can wherever we find the individual.
That's very broad, right? What are some of the things
broad.
that you're actually doing?
So concrete things we're doing is similar to what my grandfather did. We have a food program where we feed at least 10 families a week with groceries of food. It can be canned goods and it can be also produce. A lot of times people give families just canned goods, but they also need milk, they need, you know, butter, they need other things other than just canned goods.
And certainly the fresh, healthy foods, right?
Absolutely,
Which a lot of times we find people live in more urban areas that end up living in food deserts, areas that don't have access to fresh food.
That's right. And if you just drive around New Jersey in these destitute areas, right, you will notice that the food, the restaurants, and the supermarkets are different when you go to these areas versus affluent areas in New Jersey.
So you really approach the family as a holistic unit. Describe what that means and why that approach is important to you.
That approach is important to me because I believe that you can't truly help the family unless you look at it through a holistic view.
What do you mean by that?
So I always say sometimes families come to us and they need food, and then we meet that need of giving them food. But then I had to ask myself the question after I gave them the food, did I really help them? Did I help them move from where they were to a better self-sufficient place? And the answer is no, I didn't. So I look at other areas. What is preventing this family from moving from being dependent to being self-sufficient? What is blocking them? Is it education? Is it the lack of resources? Is it not having the ability to ask for what is blocking them? And then I look at the resources that SWS offers, and I bring them in and offer them all of the resources that we have.
You're especially focused on children, right?
Yes.
There's a lot that you're doing to support kids. Talk us through some of those initiatives.
Sure. So we started out basically food-based, but we're more focused now on youth and children, only because we find that has been our greatest stories over the years of people moving from a place of dependency to self-sufficiency. We have our scholarship program, which is called the Alona C. Simmons Scholarship Program, where we help youth who are graduating from high school with scholarships for college. People don't realize how expensive it is to attend, and a lot of our youth aren't able to. And education is huge in changing a person's trajectory of where they start from where they end up. So we are very targeted on education and helping them overcome the obstacles of getting a great education.
And to that end, you've partnered with the Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School right in Newark. Talk about that program and really how it's impacting the community at large.
Well, we have been around, we're going on 12 years this year, and Robert Wood Johnson have been with us for 12 years. And the Robert Wood Johnson Rutgers Medical School is actually in the New Brunswick area that we partner with. And what happens with that program is each medical student that is with the medical school partners with one of our youth, and they are tutored in any area that the youth is having deficiency in. It can be math, it can be science, it can be writing, it can be essays, it can be college scholarships or essays, anything or anywhere the student is, we meet them right where they are.
How is that really a symbiotic effort? In other words, the mentor is actually helping themselves and the mentoree is really impacting the community. I'll let you answer it.
Sure. I often tell people that when you give and you help, you often think that you're giving the most to the individual that's receiving the help. That's not true, and I am a testament of that. When you give, something happens within you. You change and you see how much such a small deed was such a huge impact. And so with the students, I love this program because students get to see up front, medical students come from all kinds of backgrounds, some of them very privileged, and they've never seen students who've never had clothing or food or backpacks or anything. And so for them to get up close and personal with students and then develop a relationship with them and see them transform to a student that was struggling to a student now that is prospering, you're changing multiple lives in that relationship.
You're clearly doing amazing work, which is why the Russell Berry Foundation awarded you the Russ Berry Award for Making a Difference in 2010, a significant award. Talk about what that meant to you.
Oh my goodness, it changed my life, literally. That award, and someone recommended me anonymously. I still don't know who that person was to this day. And that changed the trajectory of my life. I am so passionate about that award and everyone who works hard to give unsung heroes in the state of New Jersey this opportunity. And you don't find out until you're in that seat if you're going to win. And so it allowed me to be here for 12 years. I mean, I did not have funding at that point. So it allowed me to literally be here for 12 years.
We only have a second left. Do you think your grandpa would be proud of you right now?
Oh, I know he's proud. I know he's proud.
The Simuel Whitfield Simmons Organization, Natasha Rodgers is the founder, CEO, and change maker. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. You're awesome. Thank you.
You're awesome.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're pleased to welcome Denis Murphy, founder of Friends of Jaclyn Foundation, and the Jaclyn Murphy, who is the inspiration for Friends of Jaclyn Foundation. It is an honor to have both of you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
The Friends of Jaclyn Foundation is?
Well,
it's a nonprofit organization. What we do is we pair kids battling cancers and diseases, and we pair them up with college sports teams or high school sports teams, and they act as older brothers and sisters. And it's not a one-season kind of a deal. It's a lifetime experience. My team was Northwestern University out in Chicago, and I have friends all around the country, and I'm still really good, close friends with them. I actually, this past summer, I was actually invited to one of my friends' weddings, which was really weird but fun to go to, you know.
So you turned 22 last fall.
Yes.
Yeah. In March of 2004, the world changed a lot.
Yeah. Jaclyn was 9. I have another daughter, Taryn, who was 7. And we got the call from the doctor. She was playing lacrosse up in the local gym, and then her gait went. We rushed her to the hospital at Vassar, and we were there for a week, misdiagnosed, all different types of things, and we finally, my wife is a high school business teacher, one of her students said, CAT scan, we got the CAT scan, and they found the mass the size of a golf ball in her 4th ventricle. We immediately went to Westchester Medical, had surgery within 24 hours to remove the malignant tumor, and then down here at Memorial Sloan Kettering for our protocol, which called for 30 straight days of radiation and then 8 cycles of chemotherapy, 3 types of chemotherapies. And while we were down here, I get the call from her coach, her lacrosse coach, Matt Cameron. He says, you know, where's Jaclyn? And I explained to her he came down with a malignant brain tumor, and he reached out to some friends in Chicago, and they started this relationship, text messaging. And then, you know, while we were at the 9th floor, Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is the saddest place on the planet, that's where the good doctors and the nurses and caregivers are helping these children, but the beast is there 24/7, 365, taking these kids' lives. And I'm sitting there one day in the 9th floor, and I'm watching Jaclyn talk to this other girl from Poland, and she's oblivious to where she is because she's text messaging the lacrosse girls back in Chicago. And I'm processing this, listening to the conversation. The little girl gets called away from chemo, and then Jaclyn turns to me and says, "Dad, you got to go to team." So that's how Friends of Jaclyn was born.
That's how it happened.
That's how it happened. I says, all these children deserve this opportunity to be in hell and to be oblivious to where you are because you have a team rooting and waiting for you to get out of here. I think everybody deserves one of them.
Why did you do that? I'm sorry. Why did
Well,
you do that?
before I was sick, I was a big athlete. I loved playing sports. And that, you know, we moved around a lot just because of his job at the time. And when I couldn't play sports, it kind of broke my heart because that was my go-to thing. But this team allowed me to be part of it, still be part of lacrosse, and it was great. And I lost a lot of my friends because I was young and I was only here for a year and a half when we moved to New York, and a lot of them didn't understand the concept of cancer and didn't really want to hang out with me. They'd rather be playing outside, running around, and instead of sitting on the couch watching movies with me. So this team, whenever they texted me or they called me or made YouTube videos when YouTube was starting to come out, it brightened up my spirits, and I was in my own little happy place. And it was just the best thing. And then, you know, when I'm sitting in the hospital waiting room with getting all these texts, and these girls and this little girl it asks, "Who keeps calling and texting you?" I go, "My friends," and she's like, "Oh," and then she gets called in to see her doctor, and that's when I said, we need to get this girl a team. It didn't really dawn on me.
We need to get her a team. Friends, people who connect with her.
Yes, exactly, who actually will support and love her nonstop like these girls do for me. Because what they did was at games, they'd wear their initials on their sweatband, or it's moments like this. Like, I didn't get treatment like that, but my team was all the way out in Chicago.
Right.
But when they were on the East Coast, you know, it was cool. My dad actually took me all the way to Hopkins University to meet the team for the first time, and it was just a magical experience.
What is this? Let me ask you this. Why'd you come on?
Because of just what we were talking about. You give us the opportunity to share our mission. And our mission is about quality of life. What can we do for these kids today? Not tomorrow or a week or 5 years or 10 years from now. And from doing this for 12 years with over 700 kids adopted, we have, and I could have never in my wildest dreams have thought this up, we have several student athletes that have graduated, and because of their relationship with their adoptee and their team, they've chosen a career in medicine and are now in research. The cure for pediatric cancer is going to come from somebody in Friends of Jaclyn Foundation that's participated in, and it's happening. It's not, I'm making this up.
Right.
It's happening as we talk here. But our biggest challenge is HIPAA. I can't call up any hospital and say, "Hey, you know, I'm the whack job talking about brain tumors." But have a platform like this and reach that you have. I told you, you're gonna change children's lives because somebody knows somebody who has a sick child is gonna look up Friends of Jaclyn, look at our programs. We're on HBO twice. They just watched the HBO special, and that tells our whole, you know, chamber of horror in our journey. So you get it. You get it. And that's a simple process, and it's about today.
Where'd you get such a big heart?
I have two loving, great parents. My mom has actually been, sorry, Dad.
Whoa.
Mom.
She usually throws me under the bus.
Mom has been, you know, always, my mother right there.
She's the rock.
And then my sister, actually, we both get it from our mom and dad, always giving back and putting others first instead of us first. Be a leader, not a follower, is what they always told us to be. So that's where we get it from.
You said right before we started, that you were confident that just a few minutes we were going to have here together would make a difference.
Yes.
What do you hope that difference is right now? People watching,
No.
Because somebody somewhere.
They got to go to our website, friendsofjaclyn.org.
Let's put it up right now if we could, team.
Just go to friendsofjaclyn.org and click on the HBO tab, and you'll see the story. And anybody with a sick child will want this for their child. Will want this for their child. And like Jaclyn said earlier, it's not a one-game, one-season deal. It's for life. They become a member of that team for life. We've branched out now. We started with sports. We branched out into the arts and music. We have a little boy's blind. He can't go to a game. Sterling, he's adopted by the Whiffenpoofs, the Yale a cappella Whiffenpoofs.
They took him in.
Yeah, no problem.
They're there
and
for him.
There isn't a team I won't find for a sick child.
Well, you're incredible people.
Thank
You're
you
good
so
people.
much.
And we're just proud to, as I said to you, provide a small platform for you.
Thank you.
We wish
Thank
you
you.
nothing but the best.
Thank
Denis
you
and
so much.
Jaclyn,
We
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, RWJ Barnabas Health, Fedway Associates, the Fidelco Group, Caldwell University, Suez, and by Adler Aphasia Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Hi, I'm Eric. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury for nearly 2 years. One of my struggles is short-term memory loss. At Opportunity Project, I'm given hope and support, and I've gained my confidence back through the job placement program. Despite my challenges, I have a reason to keep improving. Today, even though life has changed me, I believe that anything is possible.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone.